I want to ask you the question I asked Tim Kaine towards the end there. It is kind of shocking in a way that despite all of the baggage that Donald Trump carries, he's tied with Joe Biden right now.
Yeah, I mean, George, when I looked at that recent poll, the Wall Street Journal, I said, oh, this could keep me up at night. Look, the problem is, and the biggest challenge we face as Democrats, I say we because I'm a Democrat, is that young voters, young Black and Latino voters, they're not ready to come back to the party. They're not even looking at the so-called messaging that's being sent to them about the economy, about climate change, about student debt relief. They are worried about their future. And right now, they're looking for a leader who represents their values and their vision. And I think the president's campaign is going to have to really, go deep and go hard to motivate those voters to come back within the Democratic Party coalition, because without them, it is a tight race, and it's going to come down to 4 state Democrats. But I have to say something, because, George, I'm old enough to say this. I've seen 2 movements outside of the social justice movements in my life on the political side. One was the Reagan movement. Reagan had a hold on his base, the country at large. They saw him as someone who was willing to stand up for American values, whatever that might have meant. Now, I thought it was reactionary. The other movement I saw was Barack Obama, hope and change. That galvanized the American people. I've never seen anything like this with Donald Trump. I mean, what doesn't kill you make you stronger? I mean, being convicted, being indicted, that's making him stronger. Raising $10 million using an ugly mugshot to raise money. This is a movement. And anyone who thinks that you can apply the old political rules to trying to defeat this candidate based on he's scary, he's ugly, whatever you might want to call him, this is a movement, and we have to respect the fact that it's a movement.
They're freaking out, gang. I mean, the legacy media is absolutely beside themselves. They cannot for the life of them figure out how Trump isn't imploding under the weight of all of those indictments. But we know what's really going on here, and we'll be happy to explain it to these left-wing activists disguised as journalists, and I promise we'll use small words for them. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot professor, here to help you think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Also, make sure to share this video with friends and family. We are once again being throttled by big tech censorship, so I need your help to get the hopeful message of this channel out to as many people as possible. Now, make no mistake. What you just saw there was abject panic on the part of the legacy media. Stephanopoulos said the quiet part out loud. We're shocked. We're shocked. They're literally shocked. They do not understand how 4 separate indictments, how Trump, in effect, becoming a felon is not only not hurting him, but actually seems to be helping him. They literally can't believe it. In Stephanopoulos' words, they are shocked. Now, Tammy Bruce had a little something to say in response to that. Quote, Stephanopoulos wouldn't have been stunned or shocked if he had taken seriously all the other polls indicating the intense unhappiness of Americans in general. Our decline is artificial, and it's Biden's doing. So get used to it, Georgie. Yes, get used to it indeed. Now, we talked about this in our 2.5-hour live stream on last Friday, but all the polls that have been coming out post mugshot are showing precisely what the Wall Street Journal poll was showing there. Trump is surging and Biden is flailing. The latest McLaughlin poll has Trump beating Biden by 4, 47-43. And of course, as we heard Donna Brazil say that this election is going to come down to just a handful of swing states. Well, according to McLaughlin's polling in the battleground states, Trump is crushing Biden by almost 10 points, 49-41. The latest YouGov poll, post-mugshot poll, has Trump beating Biden by 1 nationally, 44-43. Trump has never led a YouGov poll. In fact, the last YouGov poll before the 2020 election had Biden up by 10. So we could keep going. The latest Emerson poll, Trump is up by 2, 46-44. He's up by 5 if Cornel West, the Green Party candidate, is factored in, as he will be. Again, Trump has never led in an Emerson poll. Emerson had Biden winning by 5 the day before the 2020 election. The Schoen Cooperman poll, a Democrat poll, has Trump up by 1, 45-44. And Schoen Cooperman also asked how voters felt about Trump as president retrospectively. And they gave Trump a 52% approval rating while Biden fell to 44%. Trump has an 8-point lead in approval rating as president. The latest Morning Consult poll has Trump beating Biden 43 to 42. So what does all of this mean? Well, what this means very simply is that if the election were held today, Trump would crush Biden in an electoral landslide. It would make 2016 pale by comparison when Trump was the first Republican to win over 300 electoral votes in 30 years. But again, we promised that shocked panel of left-wing activists disguised as journalists that we would explain why Trump is doing so well. And that is exactly what we're going to do. But first, gang, do you love meat? I know I do, but the globalists in power at the WEF, along with their media lackeys at places like NPR, do not want you to be enjoying red meat and organic animal products on a regular basis. I recall certain Klaus Schwab very much wanting us to eat the bugs, as it were. But I've got an antidote to this anti-meat fervor right here with ButcherBox. You're going to absolutely love this. ButcherBox is a service that assembles a curated box of organic, grass-fed, free-range, wild-caught everything every month and delivers it straight to your front door. Up to 14 pounds of meat. They're amazing. And get this, if you click on that link below right now, they're offering 2 packs of high-quality bacon. Bacon, gang. Absolutely free in every one of your boxes. That's 24 packs of free bacon. But that's a limited time offer, so don't wait. Click the link in my description below and get some of the highest quality meats available delivered right to your front door today. Newt Gingrich was just on Mark Levin, and he summarized perfectly, precisely why Trump is going to not just secure the Republican nomination, but he's going to go on to win big in 2024.
Fight it again and his numbers go up. Do you agree with me, Newt Gingrich? The reason his numbers go up is because the American people are now onto this, and they don't like it. And they know what's happening to their criminal justice system. It's happening to them in many different ways. And whether they're in love with President Trump or not, they're going, I can't just roll over and watch my country die like this.
Well, I think that's right. I think that Trump is not a candidate. Trump is the leader of a movement. He's the personification of an establishment that is totally corrupt, destroying anything that gets in its way. Interestingly, for example, his support among African-American males has gone up dramatically. And the reason's simple. They feel that the police have harassed them. They're now watching the government harass Trump. They actually identify with what he's going through. I think many people who may or may not like Trump's personality, but they look at this and they think, here are my choices. I'm going to side with a totally corrupt administration, or I'm going to side with a guy who has the guts to stand there and take the beating and keep coming. I mean, Trump could easily have retired. And if he'd retired, none of these charges would ever have occurred. And instead he said, the country's worth going through this. And I think that's given him support in places that normally wouldn't have supported him. But they realize if your only 2 choices are to reinforce a totally sick, corrupt, authoritarian system, or to be with the guy who's taking it head on, I think that the country's in fact going to nominate Trump, and I think Trump has a very high likelihood of winning the general election.
Now, what Gingrich said there was absolutely key. What happened in 2016 is Trump effectively redefined American politics in a very, very specific way. He transformed the Republican versus Democrat divide that over the last several decades defined every single presidential race. He transformed the Republican versus Democrat divide into a people versus the political class divide, the ruled versus the corrupt rulers. That's what Drain the Swamp was all about. This is so essential to get in order to understand Trump's growing appeal post-mugshot. Trump effectively transformed American politics in such a way that realigned the Republican Party into what's effectively a new party. Remember, Trump was a third-party candidate who won a major party nomination. And in effect, he turned the Republican Party into a new party, one that became radically recalibrated around the working class voter, who up until 2016 always voted Democrat. Remember, states like Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania, states dominated by the working class vote, they always went blue. Iowa voted for Dukakis, for heaven's sake. What Trump did is he recast the Republican Party as the People's Party, the party of the working class, that were ignored and derided by the Democrats in their shift towards the lunacy of far-left identity politics. The working class en masse moved to Trump, the new Trump-dominated People's Party as a Republican Party. First, the white working class. The non-white working class remained largely loyal to the Democrats. But now that's changing. So the whole of the working class is now coming into the Republican fold as the party has been effectively redefined as the People's Party. So by redefining our politics as the people versus the political class, Trump has successfully implemented a new political paradigm where the Republican Party can now grow beyond anything they could have ever imagined. If the new paradigm is the people versus the political class, and if the Democrats are effectively recast as the party of the political class, as they have been, then the new Trump GOP has the potential of attracting well over 100 million voters representing the people. And here's the key. The more the Democrats and the permanent political class work together to indict and oppress Trump, the more they too redefine politics as the people versus the political class, a corrupt political class that's actively trying to destroy whoever they consider to be a threat to their power and their affluence. So the more they indict Trump, the more Trump is seen to be aligned with the people, and by definition, the people is a potential voting bloc bigger than anything anyone could have imagined. So there you go, George. That's why you can continue to indict away. Trump is only going to get stronger. Are you ready to join the resistance? Because I'm leading a group of dedicated, courageous patriots who can lead a spearhead into the heart of the secular globalist establishment. We punished Bud Light and Target, driven CNN and the legacy media to near bankruptcy, forced BlackRock to backtrack on ESG, and now we're seeing our conservative-dominated Supreme Court ending affirmative action and protecting religious liberty. In my Insiders Club, I show you concrete steps to take locally and online that will only keep this mass uprising going until the battle is won. Don't wait. Click the link in my description below and join my Courageous Patriots Insiders Club today.